Hi everyone, it's Josh from Double Edge Sharpening, and I've got some shears, obviously, that need some attention. Got a couple things going on with these shears, so I haven't done a full-length video of me doing a sharpening in a little bit, so I thought I would do that. So, why don't we go ahead and talk about what the issues are with this and get them sharpened up. Okay, so again, I'm Joshua Bambridge with Double Edge Sharpening. I sharpen kind of in a whole array of things. Hair shears and grooming shears are kind of main things. I do clipper blades, I do knives, I do ice auger blades. Now, here's the problem with me doing my YouTube videos in my shop. We have a few cats right now. Our one cat had some kittens, and we haven't been able to get rid of them all yet. So we've got 5 cats that hang around here, and sometimes when I get sharpening, they start jumping up. I don't like them jumping up on my equipment, and they stay away from it, but it's when I get out here they start hanging around. So in this video, you might get a few cats, full disclosure. Okay, so the actual sharpening part. Yeah, so I like doing this. These ones I got from a client who I've done shears before. They're a salon in my hometown. But she said she dropped them. And so she texted me, said, I dropped them. I need you to fix them. A couple issues that when I first do my kind of inspection review, opening and closing them, I can hear. Don't know if you can hear, there's a clicking. And actually, upon inspection of the blade, I can see where there's a nick or actually kind of a long kind of rough edge in this one particular spot. I'll see. It's going to be hard to see on the video. Let me see here if I can get you to see where it is. Oh, see. Oh, okay. So do you see right here where my finger is? See how the light's reflecting off that chunky part? That's a little bit of a nick. There's a cat. Say hello. I don't know which one this is. The kids have names for them all. So that shiny spot where it's reflecting, and you can see it a little bit more. It's a little bit out of focus, but right there, that right there is actually a nick. And it's on both blades. Again, don't know if you can hear it. The other thing that I know, so this is a Kasho KSI, which is a fully convex shear, crane handle. So there's a couple different styles of handle when it comes to hair shears. You don't see a lot of them anymore, but there's fully offset, which just means the thumb pieces are right across from each other on a straight, which is not the best ergonomically. Most of the time, you'll see offset shears where the thumb piece is actually moved up a bit. This one is even more where both of them are craned. So if you drew a 90 straight across, the center of the two finger pieces actually aren't in the center of the blade. It's actually craned a bit. Don't see a lot of these, but these are good ergonomically as well, and allows you to drop your wrist a bit and keep your blade straight. I also want to mention that I've been kind of in contact with other sharpeners throughout this, as I always like to grow my business and learn more. And I had another sharpener here in Canada reach out to me and kind of talk about some Kasho shears, which was nice of him. Provide me some literature on which shears are actually fully convex and which Kasho shears are actually semi-convex, because they're not all the same, and obviously not, but I really appreciated the dialogue and learning a bit. So these ones are fully convex, so we're going to take it apart, get the angle, which should be around 40-45 degrees if they're fully convex, get rid of the nick, and get them, and then test them out. I haven't done a test yet before sharpening them. I like to do it, usually a wet tissue, sometimes with hair as well. I do like to do both at the end of the sharpening. Well, let's see, get this good and wet. The tension on this is pretty good. If I drop it, it's not closing all the way, so the tension's not bad. These are right-handed shears. Do it on a piece of tissue. I like to keep my thumb out, no side tension, just to see. These will probably be pretty sharp, and they are. There's just a little bit. I can feel them. They're crunchy because of that, but at the tip, they're pulling a bit. So you can, I don't know how well you can see, but they are not cutting all the way through. And right where that nick is where the tissue starts to get chunky. So we're going to sharpen these up so they can go all the way through. So let's get going. Hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing here. Now, another thing that I've been doing lately for consistency and quality is using CBN wheels to get the ride line established, or at least consistently established. And I still use the flat stone or lapping paper here at the end, but what it allows me to do is actually just get that ride line in the right, just basically right off the hop when sharpening, gets it a really nice ride line. Sometimes the shears are out of alignment and then that shows me, but this also just has allowed consistency. Using the CBNs, and I've done a video on that, so if you want to check out my other videos of CBNs, I've really liked them. I've really liked using them. It's allowed me, again, very consistent work when it comes to ensuring that ride line is there and across the entire length of the blade. Maybe I'll move you out here a bit more. Just trying to get my camera to go down a bit, maybe. Okay, when taking the shears apart, you want to make sure you have all the pieces, make sure you know how they were put together. So, usually I start with the 600 CBN wheel, get it to the right speed. You want to make sure that we're not going too fast on it. All right. There we go. Okay, so usually I like to do it around 600 RPMs. I do like to rub in the ride line first. Again, talking with another sharpener, which again, I really appreciate all input and learning from other sharpeners as well. He suggested just make sure you do watch that the scratch pattern is actually showing up, because sometimes putting the marker, it'll rub off, but if you're not looking at the actual scratch pattern of your ride line, it may actually still not be fully established. So that was handy, and I've noticed that. I noticed that before on some of these doing this. Okay, I like to lubricate it with H42, and then we just start at the back at the pivot point, put some pressure, and check out to make sure we're getting full contact. Making sure that you place down firmly and raise up properly, and then we slide up the entire length of the blade. And that has got it. Just gonna do it one more time. Okay, so that there, we've got a ride line right across now. Okay, so we'll do that with the other one. This is 600, going at 500, 600 RPM. And then what we can do is then we'll go up to a 1200. And yeah, sometimes you do, I like to finish off sometimes with a 2000 grit when I'm doing it on the stone after. But what this does, at the RPMs that it's going at and the speed, it still gives a nice polished ride line. The other thing I didn't mention when I was actually inspecting these shears, we looked at the nicks also, and I'm assuming this is because they've been dropped, because they haven't been sharpened too many times. The tips weren't touching. When it closed, there was actually a gap to them still, which means the handle might be bent from her dropping them as well. There's two things we can do to fix that. We'll talk about that after when we get the shears back together. But again, when you first do your inspection of the shears, you're looking for things like that to kind of give you an idea of what might be the issue. And yeah, that was something, when I picked them up from her, I noticed right away that the tips were not touching. But again, she also, the reason she called is because she dropped them, which happens. It always happens. All right. So, ride line is established. So now we're going to go work on sharpening the blade. Clean these up. All right, so I've got mine set at a 40-degree angle with these for fully convex on that here. And now we're just gonna work our way up. But really, what I have to watch for with these shears is making sure we remove enough metal to get rid of those nicks, but not too much that we're taking extra off. So work right across the full length of the blade. Checking to see, we do have a burr, so we got the angle. That's good. And again, because we got the angle and these are fairly sharp and good shears, I don't want to take too much metal off. I do want to take enough off to get those nicks out, which I think we've already done because they weren't super deep, fortunately. The deeper you go on your nicks, the more metal you have to remove, and that means you are digging into the actual hollow grind of the shear, and you will shorten the lifespan of them. Make sure we got it fully convex and across the entire length of the blade. And that has it. Again, sometimes less is more. If you can get away with taking the least amount of metal off. So now we just work our way up. Same. We're just working our way up on the grit progression to give that polished edge it really refined. Convex shears allow the most versatility in the style of cutting. Slide cutting, point cutting. But what that does is allows them to be more susceptible to things like nicks, because they are brought right down so fine that if they get dropped, they're probably going to get nicked, or they get bumped when they're open, or you accidentally hit a bobby pin or something. I've had clients mention that while they were cutting hair, they hit the pins or rollers or whatever they have in the client's hair. Okay, now that we've got that all the way up the grit progression, this is where I like to go to the stone, or my my flat stone here, to deburr it and also double check the scratch pattern on my ride line. So pressure on the pivot, and I just pull back nice and even and then lift. And I like to remove any burr and check the entire ride line, check the scratch pattern, and it's good. I like to give it a couple extra pulls, and then I'm going to go and polish up the blade. Now, in polishing, what I've been doing is not polishing all the way to the edge of the blade, because I don't want to roll over that sharp edge. So what I've been doing is I've actually been stopping just before I hit that angle. So I'm still polishing the blade, but I'm not polishing too tight and basically rolling over that sharp edge that we just created. But sometimes you don't want too much of a polish, because these Kashos are also a little bit of a satin finish. So I think that's done it pretty good. And I'm going to check to make sure those nicks are gone. Yep. So they're gone now. Okay, I like to do one more pull on my stone, just in case any burr was left, and wipe it off. And now we're going to go to the second blade and basically do the exact same thing, making sure we remove just enough metal that those nicks are gone, to sharpen it up and get a burr, but not too much. Again, just checking to see it's right there. Yep. Okay. So I also like to try to do the least amount of pressure when sharpening the shears, because again, I don't want to remove excess metal. I don't want to grind in too hard. Just a little bit. So I like to try, at least for me lately, I mean, sometimes you experiment learn different things. For me lately, I've also liked to stay low on the RPMs, not going too fast. Actually found better results with going slower, keeping the... That's looking good. Okay. Less is more, less is more. Especially in keeping clients' tools lasting the full lifespan that they should. Making sure you get the full length of the shear. Yeah. Fortunately, it's been a warmer... So, I live in Canada, central Canada, and we do get quite cold here. So, this past weekend, not this week, well, leading up to it, but this past weekend, with the wind chill, so the temperature was about minus 40 degrees Celsius. With the wind, it was minus 51. So we were quite cold. And I do this in my shop, which does have a heater, but it was not fun. Fortunately tonight, it's, I think, back to minus 5, which is actually quite warm for the time of year. It should be... Normal would be probably about minus 20 degrees Celsius. So, fortunately for making this video tonight and sharpening, I am not freezing. That looks good. Alright, so polish up the edge and then we'll get these shears cleaned up. And we will test them out, both on the tissue to see, make sure we've removed all the burrs. It's cutting all the way through to the tip, and then we'll test it on some real hair, because you want to do both. You want to make sure you've removed all burrs, nicks, scratches, but also that it cuts through actual hair, because that's what the client is actually cutting. They're not cutting tissue. You want to make sure that you put the shear down and lift off fully flat. You don't want to be rounding off anything when it comes to the ride line. Okay, now get rid of any of the red marker that was left. You leave some of that red marker and the client might think you cut yourself and bled on their shears and left your blood on it. And that wouldn't be good. Okay, got it all. All right. Now we're going to put these shears back together and test them out again. Okay. So, let's get these pieces. See there. There. You want to make sure you always watch how the shears were taken apart. You don't want to miss any washers. You want to put them in the right spot. Square, well, in this case, yeah, square screw goes in the round hole. You want to put your shears together backwards. Then you want to make sure your clicker plate, the nipple is facing up, not down. And oh, when it was minus 40 and trying to put screws together, those tiny finger movements and your fingers are starting to freeze. Yeah, that's not fun. Heater works pretty good. Fortunately, it's an insulated garage. I don't like to keep it on all the time, but it does get quite cold if we don't. All right, so before closing it, I just kind of want to see, do I have roughly the right tension? Adjust it, but I don't want to close it all the way yet until we cut something. So I'm just going to do a quick cut here, not even wet. Okay, and then open it, shake it, because you're going to adjust for tension. When you tighten it, it's not always going to stay that way. You want to get rid of any extra. And then when we oil it after, we might have to click it Again, the other thing we wanted to check, so like I said, okay, now we got the tension on there. Do you see the tips? I could squeeze them a bit with the bumper, but if I just close them, you can see there's a gap there. Okay, so two things can be done. One is you could bend the handle, and on Kasho shears, these are forged metal. They'll have some room as opposed to cast, which cast breaks really easily. So we could do that. But the first and safest thing to do is actually, we've got lots of room in the bumper here. So I would actually take that down first before bending and risking any type of breakage. It is possible. So I just put a little bit of lower grit here, and I just tap this on here because it's rubber, so we can remove a bit of that bumper. And now they're closing. So now if I close them up, you see, focus on this, come on, focus. No more gap there. Actually is closing all the way. Okay, so that's good. Let's do a wet tissue test and then a hair test. Okay, let's see if I can get you in as close as I can here. Sorry, all the shaking. Okay, let's re-wet this. Okay. Shear, thumb out, push to close, and all the way through. Nice and clean. No crunchy feeling where that, oh, it feels, you can't hear it, but I can just hear it slicing, just going, oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I love that feeling and sound. Right through. Right through. No pulling at the tip. But let's check hair. Let's check some hair. Not this one. She's got no hair left. This one. Down, 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 down. Okay. She's actually running out of hair. But what I'm looking for, let's see, is just a nice, crisp, clean cut. Okay. Thumb out again. Thumb out. Clean cut. Beautiful. All right, so let's clean these up now that I got them all hairy. And oil them up. Double check that tension. Take a little bit of oil. Dab there, rub it in. Do it a few times. Then double check tension. Tension seems good. And they're ready to go back to the client. So, there we go. Sorry. So another shear where the client had dropped them. There was nicks. It wasn't closing at the tip. We were able to fully convex them, get them done, test them out. So that's one shear that I've got for you. The client will get a Band-Aid to go with it, and it's ready to go. So if you like what you saw, subscribe, like the video, join it. And if you need anything sharpened, why don't you check out my website, doubleedgesharpening.ca. And I'd love to help you out in whatever way. Like I said, shear, sharpening, grooming, clipper blades, knives. We do a whole bunch of things. But yeah, so thank you very much for checking me out, and we'll talk to you later.